By the end of this video, you will have the best cold email outreach strategy to book qualified sales calls for your high-ticket B2B service without landing in spam or getting ignored for all of your emails, right? And right now you're probably sending hundreds, if not thousands of cold emails. And the only thing that you might be getting are either no responses or people telling you to fuck off, right? If that's the case and you're watching this video right now, you're absolutely at the right spot, because I run Series, a cold email lead generation agency that is getting over 500 qualified sales calls every single year for my clients on a pay-per-call basis, right? So it's a full performance model. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly the right deliverability setup so that we can make sure that we actually land in the primary inbox of your prospects. Number two, we're going to go over how to do personalization at scale by segmenting your prospect list correctly. And then number three, we're going to cover the 3-part cold email that not only gets opened, but gets positive responses, right? And once you've implemented this, you will finally have a predictable pipeline through cold email to get more qualified prospects asking you for a conversation. So let's get into it. So for that, I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to use this whiteboard, this fancy whiteboard, to walk you through it, right? Now, we have the 3 points. So this is number 1, number 2, number 3. So we have deliverability, we have personalization at scale, and we have the 3-part cold email framework. Now, they are in order of importance. So deliverability is the most important thing about any cold email campaign, because as long as the message reaches the recipient, you will get a positive response at some point. Even if your offer isn't perfect, you will at some point get a response. That will never happen if we do not land in the primary inbox, because there are steps to this entire game, right? There are steps to it. So number 1 is you are sending emails. So you send an email. After that, they will open the email. After that, they will read the email. After that, this is getting weird. I don't know why this is so weird. It doesn't really matter. Let's keep going. After they read your email, they will maybe think about responding back, right? They respond to your email. As soon as they responded, we have 2 different paths. Either it's a negative response, and that's where the journey ends, right? Let's put that over here. Or they respond positively. In that case, this entire journey that we just had was successful, at least for now. But this positive response is contingent on them responding in the first place. And them responding is contingent on them reading the email. And them reading the email has the necessary condition, or the must-have condition, that they have to open the email. But they will never open the email if you never send it, right? And never sending it equates to not even landing in the primary inbox, because if it's not in their primary inbox, they will never see it, which will mean that you effectively never sent the email. That's an issue. So we have to fix deliverability at all costs. So if right now you're thinking about like clay workflows, or you're thinking about automating certain parts of your cold email sequence, or you have like a 10-step sequence and you try to like personalize every single bit of that, it does not matter if you're not landing in the primary. And now the question might be like, John, when do I actually land in the primary inbox? And that is a fair question. Like, that is a question that you should ask. And if you're asking that right now, good on you, good for us. It's a good question, because there are a couple things that tell you whether you land in the primary. Do I land in the primary? There are a couple signs. So number 1 sign is you are getting out of office messages. That is extremely important. If you get a lot of out of office messages, be happy. If, for example, that's a very pro tip right now, a lot of people are like, they stop their campaigns because it's some holiday season or something. I never stop campaigns when it's holidays. And why? Because I want to see if I get all of the out of office messages. It's a huge thing, because if you get the out of office message, you're most likely hitting their primary inbox. So this is an extremely important metric. Other metrics that are extremely important: you get at least a 1% response rate on all responses. That includes out of office as well, right? If you get less than 1%, it's not looking good. Like, you genuinely have to fix something. Either the copy, like usually if it's just below 1%, it might be that your copy has a couple spam keywords. You need to get rid of them. To get rid of spam keywords, I recommend using Mail Meteor's spam checker. Just Google it exactly like this. You'll find it. I can also link it in the description. Doesn't really matter. You need to check your cold email copy for spam keywords. Extremely important. Now we're talking about the basics, right? And actually, I remember that I created a document specifically for scaling cold email campaigns. And in there, I also covered deliverability to a huge degree. Let me actually find that for a second. Well, look at this. I found it. So good stuff. So we have this deliverability checklist, right? I'll also link this document that I'm showing right now in the description down below. You can download it over there, so you have it for your own notes. But in general, the deliverability checklist, follow it step by step. So this entire document is about how to scale, right? And big part of scaling is deliverability, because it's the basics, it's the foundation of a solid cold email campaign. It has to be done properly, even at scale, especially at scale, right? So we need to make sure that this actually works out well. So obviously we need to warm up our emails for 2 weeks. That's basic stuff, right? We need to make sure that actually for at least 14 days, we're warming them up properly. So you have a couple warm-up settings in here. Generally speaking, if you see warm-up settings somewhere, try stuff out. genuinely try stuff out. Right now, I believe I'm sending out, if I'm not mistaken, at least 45 to 40. Yeah, I think like 40 or something a day in terms of warm up. And I ramp them up. I have the reply rate roughly the same. It's somewhere between 30 and 40, depending on inbox. And you do that for 2 weeks and you keep that going. Very important one. Have your sending speed set at 12 to 15 emails maximum per inbox, right? Don't risk stuff. I see people running 30 emails and it works well. But generally speaking, I like the longevity of it. If I wanted to really scale my campaigns, I would just get more inboxes. I don't see any reason why you should be sending out more than 12 to 15 a day per inbox. So very much worth it, because the ROAS on cold emails allows you to be less efficient. If you have to get, like, if you all of a sudden have to get double the amount of inboxes because you now send at 15 instead of 30, right? It's still okay, because you still get a minimum of 20 to 1 in terms of ROI anyway. So that's a no-brainer. Activate the auto adjust feature. Actually, no. I've tested that. Let's deactivate the auto adjust feature. Don't use it. Don't use this. Don't use it. I don't like it. I thought I liked it, but I didn't like it. Like, this is also recent learning. Buy fresh domains every week. Because I changed a couple of these things, actually right now it's every month. So that's quite nice. So right now the average domain lifespan for me personally is like at 3 months, something like that. And it's still working extremely well because I do the next things. Creating variants. This is a huge part. This is a humongously huge part. If you are running cold email, right? If you are running cold email and you wanted to make sure that you're never landing in spam, you need to make sure that you have a lot of different split tests. So we're talking A, B, C, D. Sorry, that's not D. D, E, etc. I had one client one client campaign. I was running split tests up until V, right? And every single one of these split tests also had Spintax. Right? Spintax meaning you can write out something like this. You can write out something like this and it would create 3 different emails. So if I had 3 prospects, prospect number 1 would get hey, prospect number 2 would get hi, and prospect number 3 would get hello, right? Hey, hi, hello, first name. Meaning, if I just did that with the greeting, there would already be 3 variants. And imagine I did that for everything in the email, which I could Spintax properly. I would have gazillions of variations, right? That's extremely important. This is probably the #1 reason why most campaigns start landing in spam at some point, because it's not like script fatigue. I wouldn't say it's script fatigue. It's more like the spam filters have seen the same email thousands of times already, and now it's just time to let it go into spam straight, right? So definitely create variants. That's extremely important. In terms of unhealthy inboxes, I generally remove or set the sending speed of all the inboxes that I have less than 100% health in Smartly. I just set them to 1 email per day, right? So that they can't send more cold emails. I put them there and I leave them in warm up. And if they get better, I check this every single day. If they get better, if they get back to 100%, I put them back up to 12 or 15 a day. Right now I'm running 12 across the board, so I would just do 12. So this is also very important. Clean your entire prospect lists over and over again. If your bounce rates exceed 3%, let's put it at 3. Let's be paranoid as hell, right? After 500 prospects reached out to, so you have already contacted 500 people. If it's still at 3%, I would take the entire list and I would use usebouncer.com. I'll link it down in the description below. It's extremely solid. Out of all the verification tools, doesn't matter. If you get ListKit triple verified, you still go with UseBouncer. If you got Apollo leads, you still go with UseBouncer. If you scrape Google Maps, you go with UseBouncer. You go in there and you set it up in a way where it tells you that you only download the safest ones, so toxicity levels 0, and only the ones that are good, not like catch-alls or anything. Just the ones that are extremely safe to send. Very important. Now, with that said, since I've started doing these things, I didn't really see the necessity to run placement tests. I was just using my response rates and the amount of out-of-office messages that I'm getting as the main source for actual deliverability, or indicator for deliverability, let's put it that way, right? Because essentially, like, we're talking about the best cold email strategy out there, right? If you're just starting out, I don't see the point why you should have automated placement tests. Of course, we have some clients where I'm running automated placement tests, but generally speaking, from all the other clients where I'm not running these, they're still doing fine. Domain placement is awesome. Like, lifetime is awesome. Everything is awesome. And that's the entire gist of this video as well. Don't get cute, right? The best cold email outreach strategy is when you are not getting cute. Just do the things that are in this document and that I'm outlining in this video. So with that said, if you do all of that, right? I'm thinking right now, am I forgetting something? But I don't think I'm forgetting something. These are the most important points. You understood that deliverability is paramount, right? That's extremely important. You understood the couple indicators that will show you whether you land in spam or not. That's extremely important. You understood what variance, or what roles variance plays in deliverability. You have learned about Spintax, which is extremely important. The next thing that I would put into deliverability is sending behavior, because let's make this huge. Sending behavior. Why is this important? Now let me actually draft up something to show this visually, right? Sending behavior, showing it visually. So how would I do this? Let's just eyeball this. This is not planned. Let's see how it goes. So you have this graph. Let's actually make this graph a little bigger. All right, so your inbox, your fresh inbox, this is day 0, right? This is time and this is sending speeds. This is velocity, V for velocity. You're at 0 right here. So 0 sending speed, 0 minutes into the game. On day 14, right? This is 2 weeks, or we could also say 14. On day 14, you will want to have your inbox ready to go. And ready to go means, as we've just found out, 15 per day, right? We want to have this, or 12, could also be 12, right? Let's say we want to have that inbox at 12. Now, we have 2 types of emails being sent out, but I'm going to take the accumulated amount, right? So what we're doing is we want to push our cold email thingy. We want to push, let me actually remove the 12 because it's going to confuse you. We want to push our inbox to a proper sending speed, right? On day 14, we should be at roughly 30. Right? And we have been scaling. I think we're even scaling linearly. So forget the first line. Let's remove the first line. So we're scaling linearly, right? And on day 14, we now add our cold emails on top as well. So these are the cold emails. Now imagine you just added 15 immediately, right? This is plus 15. Now, this doesn't look too weird because we've been scaling by a little every single day. But this sudden jump of 15 extra emails is quite weird. So what you can do in terms of sending behavior is, for the first week, say until day 21, you could just emulate this, right? To get to 15 a day, because that's going to be less weird in the eyes of all the email service providers. So this is extremely important. This is extremely nuanced. Barely anyone does this. And this is only 1 week. You could also just put it, or like push it to 2 weeks so that you do this on day 28, right? And then the graph is even flatter, if that makes sense. That would be emulating human sending behavior. Now, the polar opposite of this would be, let me show you. The polar opposite of this would be this. 14 days. Right? You just bought your domain, you waited 14 days, no warm-up emails, and you straight up go to 30 a day, and then you keep it there every single day of the week, right? You're at 30 throughout. That's bot behavior. Like this is obviously bot behavior. Like obviously you will get marked as spam immediately. You'll get cooked. So don't do this. Do either of these. Definitely. So this is deliverability, right? That's my short masterclass on how to actually land in the primary inbox. Now, let's get to the second point, which is personalization at scale, because this is also very important. Because now that we've figured out deliverability, let's go to personalization at scale. I don't know what's happening with this thing deleting my inputs. So what is this rage bait? Give me my line bud. Hello? Okay. Obviously, this is perfect. So personalization at scale. Now, personalization in general, we have to differentiate between 2 terms. We have this personalization, and then we have, this is the rage bait of the century. I have no idea what is happening, but it's not allowing me to use my thing. Okay. And then we have relevance, right? These are not the same thing, because most people are they go for personalization. They are going for things like, they know what school their prospects went to. They know how many employees they have, so they want to mention it. They tell them how nice their profile picture is. They tell them how amazing their CV looks. Yes, stuff like that. Unimportant, irrelevant shit. It is personalized, but it's completely irrelevant, and it's kind of cringe as well. This tool is annoying. Okay, so it is not really useful. Like, no one cares about this stuff, right? No one really cares. What they do care about is relevant shit. So what is relevant shit? If we look at, for example, different signals, let's call them signals, right? For example, they already have 2 sales reps. They are currently hiring more sales reps. Also, the newest sales reps are only 4 months in the game. Very interesting. They recently posted about the fact that they're struggling to fill their pipeline, right? Struggling to fill pipeline LinkedIn post. Stuff like this is incredibly valuable. Now, the thing is, if you're looking at this and you're like, John, I have no fucking clue how I should find all of these things out without running Clay and this and that. What I'm telling you is, you don't have to. You literally don't have to. Because instead of just mentioning these in your actual copy, you can just ask, are you struggling to fill your pipeline? You see the magic. Are your sales reps spending more time prospecting than closing? Isn't that an amazing question? Isn't that amazing? Because the thing is, now you could say, well, this is kind of weird. I'm emailing a lot of people that maybe this is not relevant. You know why this is amazing? This will get you a response. And if we look back through the entire thing, right? Getting a response is fine. That's fine. It is awesome, because that tells us not only did they respond negatively, right? They responded in the first place, which is awesome. Meaning they read the email, which is awesome. Meaning they opened the email. My camera is lagging. This is pretty bad timing. Right? Let me finish this point still. Meaning they opened the email, meaning that we actually reached them. So we don't have deliverability problems. That's awesome. And the more people respond in the first place, the better the lifetime of the domain. So that's an extremely nice benefit. Just by asking a question. No Clay workflows, no fancy automations, no trigger-based whatever like Fugazi. Don't know. None of that bullshit. Just actual relevant questions. Now let me cool off my camera so I can keep on recording. Okay, I've decided to keep on using this other camera. So that's fine. So with that said, right? Let's actually set it up properly. Yes, there we go. Mr. Producering, that's awesome. So with that said, this actually allows us not only to get positive responses, but we get responses in general, which is quite awesome, because all of a sudden we can now check out whether we are actually landing in the primary inbox. Awesome stuff. And you can do this for everything, for anything. This could be an email marketing agency that is reaching out to e-commerce businesses asking, hey, are you using Klaviyo for email marketing? Because if they are, you can then pitch on the back end. Or you could just integrate the pitch into the email. Hey, are you using Klaviyo for email marketing? So they could be asking straight, integrated into the pitch as well. Hey, are you using Klaviyo for email marketing? If so, offer, etc. I'm going to get into the 3-part cold email framework in a second. But it is extremely important that we can run this personalization at scale. And the way we're going to be able to run this, right, to make it relevant is by having a prospect list that has a meaningful commonality, right? So a meaningful commonality. The go-to example is industry, right? Could also be they went to the same event. That's one of the actual best performing campaigns ever that I've ran. Obviously, it's not scalable, but it's like it goes to show. I had Centuro Strategies, which is a consulting firm, and for them, I took the last trade show that they went to. I took that. I took all the attendants. I took all the other people that are like exhibitors, whatnot. I took them all. I took all their names, their company names, their first names, etc. Like I took all of their data. I enriched their email addresses. I reached out to them just by asking, hey, didn't get a chance to talk to you at trade show, etc. And then the rest of the email. That email campaign, I believe, got 8 or 10% response rates and like 70% positive response rates. Like math, completely math, right? I used zero personalization. It was just relevant. At times, I think I didn't even have their first name. It worked, which is quite awesome. So with that said, we've covered how to get personalization at scale to work. You basically, it is just list work. You need to work on your list. And if your lists aren't accurate, the next thing won't matter because you can have the best cold email in the world and it wouldn't matter. I'm just looking at the wrong camera all the time. So let me remove this. So if you don't have a proper prospect list, nothing matters that comes after it. And the only thing that comes after it is your 3-part cold email framework. So we need to make sure that this is actually solid. So how do you make this solid, right? How do you actually create a prospect list? How do you make this solid? So you have to imagine the following. You're using some database, right? Let's take ListKit because it's one of my favorites. ListKit is pretty solid. It's like Apollo. It's very much like ZoomInfo. It's just a database, right? And you can use industry filters. You can use company sizes. You can use keywords. You can use all of these things. LinkedIn Sales Navigator, for example, is extremely similar. So if you've ever used Sales Navigator, you'll know that you have the industry filter. You can then filter for accounts, department head growth, and whatnot. All of that stuff, right? Now, the thing is, most people, novices, I'll tell you what novices do. They just set industry filter. Then they set employees range. Then they, what else do they do? Job title. Very good. Yes, job title. They do these 3 things. They call it a day. They export the entire thing, right? they go ahead. They export. Oh my God, this tool. They export the entire thing. And then they have their list. And it's essentially way less than 60% accurate. Like way less. Usually it's like 25%. I've checked this myself. It's horrendous, right? If you do it like this, I've checked it myself. It is horrendous. Like 60% is a compliment. Horrendous list. Maybe 10%. Terrible. Like I despise lists like these. So what else could you do instead of doing this, right? Don't do this. What else could you do? You could go with, that's how I do it. And I think it's pretty nice. You just go by keywords first, right? You figure out all the keywords. How does that work? If you're, for example, reaching out to, what's a pretty nice example? Let's take 3PL, third-party logistics companies, right? So supply chain management, fulfillment help for e-commerce businesses. So we have e-commerce businesses, they're here. They have their customers, they're here. The e-commerce business owner doesn't want to take the packages, deliver it himself. What he says is, I want to have a third-party logistics company that picks up the products from my end and brings it to the customer, right? That's what they do. Now, how do you find these people? You could now go set the industry filter for logistics. Could be anything. You could now, with logistics, you have SaaS businesses for logistics firms. You have logistics consulting companies. You have logistics engineering companies. You have all of these things, right? What I do instead is I just type in keywords. And I think I have the keywords somewhere over here. Let me actually find them for a second. Ha! Guess what? I found them. So imagine this. You have the following keywords. We have these ones. Like we want to include all of these. These are include. You also can exclude. And we're going to get into exclusion in a second. So include, right? We're including 3PL. We're including third-party logistics or fulfillment. And now either one of these 3 in combination with e-commerce or e-commerce or DTC, direct to consumer, or Shopify or Amazon. So we could have fulfillment Amazon, fulfillment Shopify, fulfillment DTC, fulfillment e-commerce, or e-commerce, right? Same for 3PL. We got 3PL e-commerce, 3PL e-commerce, 3PL DTC, 3PL Shopify, 3PL Amazon, right? That's what we're doing right now. Now, the coolest thing about that is you could now add not, and then you can start with, maybe you find a consulting firm in your prospect list. You have Listkit open right now. Like Listkit is open. Listkit's open and you're looking at it and it shows you a preview of the people that you have in your prospect list. Now, you see a consulting firm. What you're going to do now is consulting, remove that. Done. No consulting firms. And then you see an agency. And then you say, well, I don't want to have agencies in there. Let's remove the agencies. And then you found, I don't know, some engineering thing. Engineering, gone. Or maybe even engineer, right? This is how you use keywords. Now, the last thing that you might want to do is add industry on top, right? You could do that. You could do that. But the thing is, the keywords in itself is so accurate. This will only reduce the people that you can actually reach, because some of them might have set their industries categories wrong. That might be true. So maybe not, right? Maybe instead of doing that, you could just go with employee size. So employees, well, what are they called? Employees range. Yes. Job titles. And then now location as well. That's very important. So that's also what they usually do. So we can add that just for benefit of the doubt. If you set these filters in that manner, that'll be huge for you. That will be huge. And the coolest thing about the keywords thing is I don't even need to give you a script. I just need to give you the competence to do it, because now what you need to do is you set the first keyword that comes to mind. So let's say it's cold email, right? You set up cold email. And then you see a bunch of different, say, prospects or companies. And now you go through the company descriptions and you find let's say with the cold email thing, you find something with email marketing, right? Like newsletters. Now you could go ahead and say, okay, I don't want to have any newsletter agencies in there. I don't want that. So let me go into the not, right? And then add newsletters in there. That's how you can go about this. This is very dynamic. This is very, very easily doable. This doesn't take too much time and it's extremely nice, because now we can smash the third part of this. This board looks wild. This never works and it's extremely annoying, and I'm going to quit in a sec. So now 3-part cold email framework. How does this work? I took some notes actually. I also took some notes. So let me check out the notes. What did I say? Yes, 3 parts. It has 3 parts. That's a very big surprise. So with USP, we have an offer, and then we have a proper CTA. That's how you build a proper cold email, right? That's how it works. Now let's go into each and every single part of these, each and every single one of these parts. So we have the number one thing, USP, right? What's so special about the USP? This is so annoying. It is incredible. So USP. USP means unique selling proposition. It's unique. Unique means there's only one, right? Only you can say this. There are no other people that are able to say this. Let me give you a couple examples, right? Let's actually write the email together right now. I like that idea. Let's write the greeting with it as well. So we have, hey, Maine, right? This is our email. Hey, Nate, let's put the unique selling proposition there. Been running cold email for AirPay Dental for the past 17 months to generate. This is not going to get. Been running cold email for AirPay Dental for the past 17 months to generate qualified sales calls with decision makers at dental practices, right? That's extremely unique. I swear to God, you can't say that. I promise you, you can't say it. None of you can say it. Facts, right? So we have the unique selling proposition. Now, onto the offer. I usually like to add something like confident. I can do the same for you too. I like that. I think that's generally pretty nice. It's pretty nice add-on. I usually found that to work pretty well. Now, this is the USP, right? Now, what about the offer? The offer. So in general, you want to clearly specify what you're selling, to whom, and what the actual offer is to these people. And an offer is something that people could either accept or decline, right? With proper terms. So there are a bunch of things like, be it Hormozy, be it this, be it that. There are a lot of ways to define offers. I don't want to go into that. I just want to show you how I do it, right? So let's keep it extremely simple. Read an offer. How does an offer look? You could tell them the actual service you're going to deliver, combined with payment terms, a risk reversal, and then you also could have the format, right? You could have the format of the offer. So the format could be DIY, done with you, done for you, right? The risk reversal could be guaranteed. So that could be performance-based, that could be money back, that could be tied to a specific result, right? Payment terms could literally be still like, if it's performance-based, it's like pay per call. Is it one-time setup fees, whatever it is, like, or you could just combine the two with the risk reversal and say, well, we'll do a pilot project, right? You could have some form of hint over the actual payment terms. You could also have a free trial. For SaaS, that's also pretty valid. So the payment terms, free trial, very easy. And the service is literally what you deliver to them with the actual benefit, right? Service, actually, let me remove this, service/benefit. So I can get you your insurance verified overnight. You can have a free trial, and there's absolutely no credit card required, right? So we can say no credit card required. And the setup is going to be completely done for you. So we could have that free. So this is a cool offer. So we have insurance verification overnight for your dental practice. You have a free trial of 30 days, and there's no credit card required, and we'll set up the entire thing for you so you can spend less time on insurance verification every single day. That's how you could do it, right? So this is awesome. This is perfect. So this is a nice offer. And then now to the CTA, right? To the CTA, you have direct asks, indirect asks, and you have the Loom angle or the Loom CTA. And honestly, for every single one of you, like if you're watching this and you're looking for the best cold email outreach strategy, you're going to go with the Loom CTA. Why? It is a freaking no-brainer. It is a no-brainer. And it's a no-brainer for them, not for you. I get it. It's a no-brainer for them. If you reach out to them, tell them, hey, we've been verifying insurance for X amount of people, dental practices, in the past 4 years. Confident we can do the same for you too, so you can save on employee costs or whatever. And you'll get your insurance verified overnight. It's a free trial. There's no credit card required. It's completely done for you. Can I send you a video showing how to do that, or showing how it works, or how we would get started? Banger email. Banger. Absolute banger. This is going to completely obliterate all of the different emails that you've tested so far. Absolutely. I promise. Banger email. So what does this mean? We've covered deliverability. But let me just sum this up. Let's sum this up. We've covered deliverability, why it's important. We've covered personalization at scale, how to do it and why it's important. And we've covered cold email frameworks. So again, let me remove a couple of things from here so it doesn't look that messy for us, because I need to tell you something that's extremely important. So you might remember the contingencies of responses, right? That we've covered. So to get a positive or any response, you need to get someone to respond to you, right? And to get someone to respond to you, you need to get them to read your email. And if they, to get them to read your email, you need to get them to open your email. And if they can't open your email, then it's probably because you haven't even sent the email, right? There is also a certain degree of contingencies between these. And I actually want to say doesn't equal relevance. So this is nice. So we have these. Let's sort ourselves for a second. Nothing in your words. There you go. So there are contingencies, because your cold email will not matter if you reach out to the wrong people, right? If the relevance is just not there. If you don't have a list that has a meaningful commonality, right? You can't write a proper email. It will never work. Never. Never ever, right? That will never work. If you have a list that is proper, then you can make this work. That's awesome. Now, the thing is, having a list doesn't make any sense if you're never going to reach the people that you want to reach out to. And if you just go up 2 degrees, it basically means that deliverability is king. Deliverability is king. As long as the message reaches its recipient, it's going to work out somehow, some way. This is almost like optimization at this. This is even more optimization. The further down you go, the more optimization it becomes. We need to make sure that people open our stuff, right? Extremely important, because only then can they read it, and only then, if they read it, they will respond, right? And we need to make sure that people always respond to our emails. And to get them to always respond, we need to make sure that we nail these 3. And these 3 are exclusively dependent on deliverability, because everyone opens their email. No one cares about your subject line. I didn't even talk about subject lines. Like, you don't need any fancy subject lines. Quick question, done. Because you have a quick question. This is a very quick question. Done. It's done. You don't have to overthink this. So deliverability is king. Subject lines don't matter. Personalization at scale doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is relevance. And as soon as you have these figured out, you have a 3-part cold email framework in this video that you are going to copy, paste one-to-one over to your emails, apply the lessons, right? And then you're going to get qualified sales calls booked with proper business owners. Now, in one of my next videos, I'm going to cover how to actually record this Loom video that I just mentioned in a way that will get them to open the Loom video, watch the Loom video in full, and then actually book a sales call by themselves. I'm going to do that. To get notified about new videos, etc., you can do whatever you need to do on YouTube, whatever it is. But also, very important, sign up to my newsletter via the description in the bottom, right? You will get 3 to 5 tactical tips for cold email, just like these ones, every single week, right? So sign up over there, and otherwise, I'll see you there. Take care.